Shan Shariff of 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Morning show guy, pregame of the Cowboys radio network as well. Sean, right off the top, are the Cowboys going to win the NFC East?
I believe they are going to win the NFC East. I did take Sam Bradford in both of my fantasy leagues because I do think if Sam Bradford plays in all 16 games, we could be, Troy Aikman the other day said we could be looking at a possible MVP season, and I don't think that's crazy just because he has to have some type of talent pedigree, Armin, to be taken as the number one guy in the draft. He has to have something in order to have Chip Kelly this in love with him, and Chip Kelly makes anyone in that system put up big-time numbers. So I'm going to trust that DeMarco doesn't stay healthy, Sam doesn't stay healthy, and that the Dallas Cowboys that their running game is okay and their defense is much better than the past 2 years. So I got the Cowboys winning the East.
Cowboys hosting the Giants Sunday Night Football to open up the regular season for both teams this Sunday. Shan Shariff in Dallas of the pregame show on the Cowboys radio network. You mentioned you're going to assume that the running game is going to be okay. How is the running game going to be okay for the Cowboys? What's it going to look like?
Well, it's going to look unpredictable. I truly believe that. They just traded for Christian Michael out of Seattle, and I don't think that's just to add a different dynamic. Stephen Jones told us that yesterday, saying, well, this is a power guy and a battering ram, and maybe he gets some of those goal line carries. I don't think they have been as satisfied and happy as I think they thought they were going to be with Joseph Randle and Darren McFadden. How are you going to count on Darren McFadden to stay healthy? Can Joseph Randle carry the football 20 times a game? And something that no one's talked about, my big worry with Joe Randle, let's say he takes advantage of these gaping holes up front in the offensive line. How is this guy going to be able to handle success and newfound fame and all these big-time numbers? Because I do believe Joe Randle is a knucklehead, but I think on Sunday night, Joseph Randle will get that start there in the backfield, and then we'll see Darren McFadden, and then Cowboy fans have to hold their breath that those two can make the running game work. But I'm going to rely on the Denver Broncos back in the day, Armin, where it didn't matter who they put back there. The scheme in the offensive line up front were just that good, and that allowed Denver and Shanahan and whoever else coached them to be able to hand the ball off. And I think the Cowboys' offensive line is that good, if not potentially better.
Sean, any hangover from the Dez Bryant very public negotiations of excuse me, I was choked and died, of his contract over this offseason?
No, absolutely zero holdover. There was an article that came out where Dez was saying, Jerry thinks he knows me. He doesn't know me, but that was conducted earlier for that Rolling Stones piece. The only Dez Bryant holdover is Dez Bryant being held out of the end of training camp. How rusty is he going to be? How is he going to try to overcome practice simulation when he hasn't been out there? And they were worried about his hamstring that he hurt a little bit because of his own fault, dunking on the goalpost after a touchdown in Oxnard, California. That's the only Dez concern is the rust factor and making sure that the hamstring isn't Miles Austin all over again.
Shan Shariff out of Dallas, 105.3 The Fan, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Sean was at training camp with the Cowboys throughout. Sean, how big of a loss is cornerback Orlando Scandrick for the year for the Cowboys?
Humongous. You know, we conducted this poll question over the past few weeks. Are you more worried about the Cowboy cornerbacks or the Cowboy running backs? And everyone said it was the Cowboy running backs. I'm going Cowboys corners. How can I tell you that Morris Claiborne and Brandon Carr are going to start off the season and you're going to think you're going to be okay? Well, everyone just wants to rely on the pass rush. That Greg Hardy, when he gets back, and Randy Gregory and Tyrone Crawford and a healthy Sean Lee, that's going to make the secondary better because there's going to be less time to throw. Now, Brandon Carr did have a better end to last season, but Morris Claiborne's been a total bust. You still are really worried about Carr, and now they're throwing a guy, Tyler Patman, into Orlando Scandrick. Look, you can make the argument that Orlando Scandrick was the best slot corner in the National Football League. I can't stand the guy personally. I think he's a 25-7 grouch.
Yeah!
But he was a fantastic slot corner, and now you're throwing in an unproven Tyler Patman. That has to be scary for Cowboy fans. So I think the Scandrick injury is humongous. It may be, this may sound crazy, it may be just as big as Jordy Nelson going down for the Packers.
Wow. Sean, thank you for backing me up on Orlando Scandrick just being a complete jackass, because obviously we never wish any ill will on anyone. And, I obviously we all wish that Orlando Scandrick was healthy right now. But I've been screaming from a mountaintop since I arrived here in the Capital Region that Orlando Scandrick is just a difficult individual to deal with.
He is. I mean, he's got Drea, and you see all the different stuff that happens in their relationship. So maybe he's got good reason to be grouchy or temperamental or up and down when she's throwing his shoes in the pool or burning his clothes. But Orlando Scandrick, in my opinion, goes out of his way to be miserable to the media. But again, fans don't care about that. That's a media problem, and we're all going to miss Orlando on the field, obviously.
Sure, at least the Cowboys are. The Giants won't miss them on Sunday Night Football for the opener for the Cowboys hosting the Giants this Sunday night. Sean, what's the one matchup you're looking at in this game, Giants-Cowboys?
Well, I'm looking at who is going to cover Odell Beckham. Is it going to be the Cowboys play size? So you're not going to have one specific corner following Odell Beckham. So the Giants can probably dictate that matchup. If they want Beckham against Carr, who, by the way, was covering him during that all-time catch last season, they can have him on Carr. If they want him on Claiborne to try to torch the former number 6 pick overall, they can get him on Claiborne. So look at them, stops Odell Beckham. But maybe you're going to get some extra attention over there because it looks like Victor Cruz is not going to play. The injuries here, man, I think this makes this Cowboy win, and I don't have a ton of worry about it in my mind. No Victor Cruz, no Jason Pierre-Paul. That's why I feel good about the Cowboys starting off 1-0 at home.
And John Beeson at middle linebacker, their quarterback of the team. You know with Sean Lee in Dallas how important he is. John Beeson, if he does play, won't be 100% either. So I agree with you on that one with the injuries to the Giants. It might be a long season overall for them as well. Well, Sean, appreciate it, man. Now, okay, Sean Sharif is on Twitter at 1053SS. And my listener, listen up, everyone in the Capital Region. Giant fan, I want you to hound Sean on Twitter because he will get into it with you. He will mouth back to you. So that's at 1053SS. He has nothing else to do apparently besides tweet and Facebook all the damn time. So get on his ass on Twitter.
Well, that's lovely, but I retract that now. It's good being on with you, buddy.
All right, good talking to you too, man. Well, have a good game on Sunday.